before I even went to go test, I had a symptom where I was like, okay, I know I'm pregnant. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are watching this video, then you have probably seen my previous video that has announced that I am indeed pregnant. So in this video, I'm gonna go over my 2-week wait symptoms and weeks 1 to 4, which is technically your 2 weeks. I want to go over some of my symptoms because I know when I was trying, but not technically trying, these are videos that I watch all the time just to symptom spot and try and find out if I was having the same things that other people were having. So hopefully if you are watching this, then that means that I am currently past the 12-week mark. I'm going to be waiting to post these videos until then, but I do want to track my pregnancy and the progress all the way through, so I'm going to start filming this right now. I am 3 weeks and 6 days pregnant right now. So if you've seen my live pregnancy test video, then you probably know that I received my positive on October 19th, which was 8 days past ovulation, so that was really soon. I took one of the really cheap strip tests and that was actually negative, but I also took a first response at the same time and that one showed a really faint line. And if you saw that video, you know that I was not really expecting that. We weren't really trying to get pregnant, but I had gone off my birth control, and my thought process behind that was that I didn't ever want to be stressing about trying. So we figured that it would be best to just go off birth control and just let nature take its course. And voila, we're here 1 month after I have been off of birth control. I actually stopped taking my birth control on August 24th. And then I had a period in September, and then I got pregnant in October. So moving on to my 2-week wait symptoms, these were the symptoms that I had before I actually got my positive pregnancy test. So on the 10th of October, that was my ovulation day, and I could actually feel myself ovulate, which was very surprising to me because I've heard a lot of people say that they can feel it, but I had been on birth control for so many years that I had no idea if it was something I could feel or not. I felt a really sharp pain, and then it was kind of like twingy and crampy overnight for that whole night. On the 11th of October, I didn't feel anything. There wasn't really any changes. But on the 12th of October, I woke up with a pounding headache, and I had a really good sleep the night before, but it had felt like I had slept for 2 hours. And I was actually supposed to do turkey dinner that day, so I was so nervous that I was gonna have this headache, and I didn't have any Tylenol. I only used Advil, and I know that Advil is not good for you when you are pregnant. You are supposed to only take Tylenol. So I had to wait all day until I could go and finally get some Tylenol so I could get rid of the headache, and that was the only thing that would get rid of it. So that was kind of my first indication because that usually doesn't happen to me. So then on October 15th, this is kind of a fun one, I had the biggest craving for lemon cake. I literally was in the grocery store shopping for some groceries for dinner. I had the box of lemon cake in my hand, and I was literally gonna go home and make this entire lemon cake and just eat it. But thankfully, when I was at the till, I was paying for this box of lemon cake. I was lucky because I was at a Safeway and there's a Starbucks right there, and I realized that they have a slice of lemon cake. So I went and got that, and I legit sat in the parking lot and devoured that freaking lemon cake. Like, it was so good. It may not be a symptom, but I thought it was kind of funny because I don't usually just do that. So on October 15th, I had some major gas. I am not the type to make loud noises like that a lot, and on October 16th, it was all day and it did not smell good. I totally was like, I could have cleared a room that day. I have heard people say that they also are gassy in their 2-week wait, so I figured that I would just mention it. Also on October 17th, I felt like I couldn't take a full breath. It was like around my rib cage where I felt like I couldn't fully extend my rib cage. It almost felt like an anxiety attack where it's like there's so much pressure but without the anxiety. So then on October 18th, I had some really bad cramps. It was cramps like I usually get on the first day of my period. The first and the second day are usually the worst, and that went on pretty much all day. I was ready to test the next day, but before I even went to go test, I had a symptom where I was like, okay, I know I'm pregnant. This is 100%, I know I'm pregnant. I knew that night before I actually tested the next day. So the symptom that I had that literally made me know that I was pregnant was when I was changing to get into bed the night before, and I had taken off my shirt, and there is a mirror like right in front of our bed. So I was taking off my shirt and I turned to look in the mirror, and my nipples were huge. I actually have this like ring of dots around my nipple. I'm not sure if that's common, so if it's not, let me know. And usually my nipple sits like right inside that ring of dots, so it's not much bigger than that. But when I took my shirt off that night and I looked in the mirror, it was such a quick glance, but it was enough of a change in size for me to look again. My nipple was like an inch or half an inch out from these dots that they're usually at. So I could 100% see that my nipples were larger. And I actually went into the bathroom and I stood in front of the mirror for like 5 minutes and I just stared at my nipples. And that was, I think, the symptom that made me 100% know that I was pregnant, because your nipples don't just change like that. And then I actually got into bed and we have our fan running all the time. And of course I'm sitting up in bed Googling symptoms because now I'm thinking, holy crap, I'm pregnant. And while I was doing that, the fan was blowing on my boobs and it was so painful. And I never get painful breasts during my period or before or anything like that. I've heard people say that they kind of get sore, tender breasts before, and that honestly is something that never happens to me. So as soon as I felt the fan blowing the air and it felt like it was stinging my breast, that was my second indication to tell me, yep, you are 100% pregnant. So that brings me to October 19th, which is the day that I got my big fat positive. I was shocked, honestly. I wasn't shocked because, like I said, I knew, but it was just crazy to see it and actually have it confirmed. It was just such a weird feeling to know that it was real. And even now, like, it still doesn't feel real at all. That brings me to the TMI portion of this video, and I also had really bad diarrhea that day. And I don't know if that was because I was nervous, because I usually kind of have that happen when I'm nervous. And that symptom honestly hasn't really gone away. To tell you the truth, I'm still really nervous. Ever since I found out to now, I am just so nervous about everything. Every little twinge that I feel, every little cramp that I feel, I am nervous that something's gonna happen. And I feel like that just goes on from now until 18 years later when your kid is out in college, and even then you still worry. I'm still having really, really sore, tender breasts. Today they feel really big and sore. So that is a symptom that has stuck with me. I was still experiencing the heavy cramping. There was a couple times where it was painful, like the shooting pain, and it really honestly made me concerned that I was cramping that early. And I was really scared, actually. I swear, every little thing that happens to you, you just think, oh, miscarriage, like, all the time. So it has been really difficult for me to go through that. But today is October 22nd, so it is a few days after my positive pregnancy test, and the cramping seems to have subsided today. There's like the occasional one cramp that I feel, but it's not as consistent as it was. I'm trying to convince myself that it's normal, because it is. I had my first doctor's appointment today and they confirmed that cramping is normal. It's when it's accompanied by a really, really bright red bleeding that you should be concerned. And I actually haven't bled at all or even spotted this whole time. I'm not sure if maybe that's still yet to come, but so far everything seems to be going good and normal. So I just really need to calm my nerves. I feel like from the minute you decide to get pregnant, you instantly start worrying about getting pregnant. And then as soon as you get pregnant, you start worrying about miscarriage. The minute you decide to have kids or try to get pregnant, the worrying will never end. So I'm hoping that that's something that I can kind of keep control of. I'm just trying to focus on the positives and continue with the knowledge that everything seems to be going well so far, and hopefully it continues that way. And it's crazy to me to think that this video is gonna go live and I'm gonna start my pregnancy journey and you're gonna see it. And yes, I'm filming the birth. This has like been my dream ever since I started YouTube, to film pregnancy updates and to film the birth of my child, and I'm super excited about it, and I hope you are too. But anyways, I am going to end this video now because I'm pretty sure it's going to be 1,000 years long, because I like to talk. I hope you guys have really enjoyed watching this video, and I hope that I have been able to help you symptom spot some of your symptoms. And yes, I almost forgot. I need to do a bump shot. Oh my god, this is like so exciting for me. I almost forgot this part. This is like the most important part. I just got my blood testing done and my flu shot. Okay, so this is from the front. Your shadows fall behind. Just tighten it a little bit. When all the weight you carry on this side is weighing on your mind.
to show you all the things you're missing.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, so that you can stay updated on my whole entire pregnancy and see the birth of our brand new baby. Everybody is telling me that they think it is going to be a boy, so let me know in the comment section below what you think it is going to be, and I will see you again in my next pregnancy update video.
Your eyes are new worlds to discover. Your heart is the place I call home.